to move down the leg. So we're gonna drape. Now you don't spend a lot of time in any one spot. Better to hit it multiple times if it's the target area. And what do I do here? Just pop that over the top. That takes care of any gap right here. Now, got the same thing with the underwear. So I already have permission. I'm just gonna lift it, and as much as I can. Now these are tight, so this is as far as I'm gonna be able to go with this. So that's gonna put me in a position where I have to work over the sheet up in this area into the hip. So you can't do any gliding, and you can't really do any kneading. You have to rely on compression plus compression with movement then. So when I transition to another area, one of the first things I do is the joint movement. It helps them settle down a little bit too, and it also, I can fiddle with the sheet a little bit if I need to. I do a little bit of, I'm going to do some assessment now. So how far should a hip or a knee joint go in its flexion? 90 and a little. You do not, even if it can go, you don't bring it all the way down. And then once I've got it up here, I can see what I've got: an internal rotation and external rotation. What should that be? 45. Where's Lauren? Okay. So rotations are from here, about 45, and then back to neutral and about 45. So what do we notice with him in external rotation? But a little hyper mobile in internal rotation. So that means, those of you that have dyslexic brains like I do, if they're hypomobile, trying to go in the internal rotation, that means that the lateral or external rotators are short. If he's hypermobile, going into external rotation, then what that tells me is that he doesn't have enough tone to hold that in his internal rotators. So it's that relationship between the agonist antagonist that goes on through there. So in this assessment, I know that he's a little hypermobile, and you don't, it's 45, anything past that you see is hypermobile. You don't mess with it, except maybe to try to balance the tone patterns. This is a little hypomobile. So I know that it's the deep lateral hip rotators that might be not letting go. So I might choose then to do an intervention. I might choose to do that. Don't always have to do that. I probably would wait to check the other side, but for the demo, because I want you guys to get on the table. So one of our main interventions is inhibitory pressure plus movement. So I would come in and work over the sheet, and I would apply inhibitory pressure. So I got to know that I'm in the right spot with this. So I'm playing with my body mechanics. And so okay, start to bring your leg over here. Okay, I'm on them. So now either it can be a passive movement back and forth, which is going to give you a shear force introduction, or it can be an active movement. So I start with a passive movement, and then I say, "Do you feel how I'm doing that?" Say yes.
Yes.
And then I say, "Now you do that," so that they bring the active component in it. 10, 15 seconds. because you're just trying to affect the tone. And I got a pretty good, you know, it's enough. It's enough. When I shake it, I get a general relaxation with the shaking, general tone decrease with that. This is also excellent for fluid movement if that's the case. So it's good. It's good. I know I'm going to put him on his side, so I'm not going to concentrate a lot on the internal part of the leg or the adductors into there. So I forgot to demonstrate the hot, cold, wet, dry, rough, smooth, ease bind. So what do? You forgot. You do the best you can. So, okay, so we want to work on all areas. I'm trying to get that for the camera. We're trying to work on all aspects of the posterior compartments. So we start here, and these muscles go up and down. So but we're not gonna take real long excursions, right? We're gonna take a little bit of a glide, and then we're gonna take another glide. None of this. That brings your shoulder, okay? So we're gonna do that approximately 3 times. Each time a little slower and maybe a little deeper. Stay flat. If they want more pressure, which they probably won't if you're really leaning on this in this area, you can just sharpen that a little bit. Now, let's say I hit an area that was symptomatic to him, and we were going to try to change that area a little bit. I can add a dimension to inhibitory pressure plus movement, and I can add something called more of a pin, hold it down and stretch. So I want to start that out with the ends of the muscle together and passive. I'm going to find the spot that I feel is dense. I'm going to hold it there. This is a variation on what we do with the skin stuff and the ease and bind. And then I'm going to have them come down. You see how I brought the leg down over here? So here's the pin and stretch isn't the best term for it, but it's the one that's being used. So I'm holding this firm, and then he's bringing it into length, into elongation. Hold it, they come down. And then back up and down. So this adds one more layer of sensation into the area.